Welcome back. Welcome back to, is it PD Adventures? Oh no, it's the Daily Dose. I'm
Daily
Susan.
dose.
And it is PD Adventures with Larry Gifford, who
Woohoo.
I happen to know recently had DBS, and we were just talking about voice, physical voice. And I'm interested to know if the DBS changed your voice one way or another from the challenges that you were experiencing.
What's very interesting is I asked before my surgery, probably a dozen different professionals, nurses, doctors, surgeons, what will DBS do to my voice? And they said nothing. And I said, well, that's not true because my lived experience in talking to people who've had it is that your voice is impacted in a negative way. And they're like, not true. I'm
Okay.
like, totally true. And so, in fact, when I was in my surgery, they were using my voice to gauge where to place the electrodes. So they go, okay, Larry, I need you to say 4, 5, 6. So I go 4, 5, 6. They go, okay, let's try it again. 4, 5, 6. They move it a little more. And they go, I'll try it again. I go 4, 5, 6, and they go, okay, here we go. I'll take that one. So it can.
And they didn't even see that that was the connection.
No,
Can
You
I
know,
throw a
Ella,
comment there?
they used to use Ella Fitzgerald's voice to tune instruments with because it was that accurate. And so maybe who
Well,
knows? Maybe that's what they were doing.
right.
and there's something I heard in that too, which is just that this idea that what you're told no about, or that things don't, equate. And this is by potentially people who are experts, within their field. It doesn't mean they know everything. I mean, you know your instrument, your body, and the ability for you to be heard in that way, especially with the instrument you use, was critical. In fact, was
Yes,
part of your surgery.
for sure. And they keep following up and keep adjusting and keep fine tuning it so it'll be strong, so I can be strong. And so I'm very appreciative that they've taken that because they knew it was a big issue for me.
Mhm.
So they've focused that, and I guess that's the key. If you're going to have DBS surgery, make sure you let your doctors and your surgeons and your nurses know what's important to you,
That's a great message.
because everybody, your voice may not be as important to you as it is to me, but maybe what's important to you is your eyesight or whatever, because all of that is housed right around where they're doing the surgery. So it could be anything.
Yeah.
So is that the majority of the tweaking that they're doing now is trying to,
Right now, they're trying to get my actual physical medicine lower and the electric stem higher. So I I bump it up whenever I'm like off, but if I get disconnected, I call in and then they reduce my medicine.
wow, there's a lot
And
of
so
tweaking.
right now we're at 6 pills a day. I was at 18 before the surgery.
There you go.
And we'll get it down a little bit more. And I think I've got to go one more time this week, and then I got to wait a month.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's great.
it sure is. Yeah.
So
You've had it
before,
too, right?
yep, I was going to
Yes,
say,
just one
Yeah,
side. Just
just
one
one
side.
side.
You had both, right?
I had both.
Yeah.
And how is it working for you?
Oh my gosh. I'm thrilled to be able to say half the time
Yeah,
I forget I have Parkinson's. It's really amazing. But I remember them testing my voice because my doctor told me that's what they were doing
right.
during the surgery. And she had me say, today is a beautiful day. And
Oh,
that is a psychological message that you're trying to put in my head. But it was really the T and the B and the D that they wanted to
right.
see if I could nail it because they didn't want to mess around with the speech center, wanted to stay
Isn't
away.
that interesting?
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect your voice, says
yeah,
the
well,
doctor.
exactly. And once again, that highlight of, your voice literally and your voice metaphorically. And Larry, to highlight again what you said too, that DBS is not DBS is not DBS, right? There are adjustments, and there are, I mean, for some people it is, and the majority of people it's highly successful, and other people who have struggles, and there's possibilities of why it was a struggle, and in terms of how it was placed or how the procedure was done, or what the relationship between the surgeon and the person was. You taking an active role and saying, here's my life, and being, sounds like, asked by your surgeons, what do you, how do we, how
Oh,
can
no,
we?
we had to tell them everything. We weren't asked that.
So, well, there you go. So you stepped up. You had to ask.
Yes. You always do that with my, I had to ask for the surgery. I had to ask for everything. Like you can't take a passive role as a Parkinson's patient. It is a very active, engaged. I mean, it's too bad because it's a full-time job on top of your full-time job on top of your full-time
Yes.
job.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
And then
But
there are
it's
the medical
important.
politics of whatever country you live in.
Sure, yeah, right.
So
So go ahead,
go ahead.
Robert.
I was just going to say, you bring up a really interesting point that I wanted to button so that we could take it to the next episode, if that's okay. And that's the idea of being an active participant in your life. So let's come back for a next episode and
Okay.